The Legend of the Christmas Tree. Long ago, in a time when the land was covered with dense forests and winters seemed to last forever, there was a small village nestled among the snow-covered hills of Germany. The cold was so biting that the icy winds seemed to cut through the skin, and the gray skies rarely allowed the sun to shine through. The villagers lived simply. They hunted in the woods, gathered what the earth could offer before the snow buried it, and kept warm with firewood they painstakingly collected. But this year, winter was harsher than ever, and hope seemed to have vanished from the hearts of the people. The laughter of children was rare, the smiles of adults were dim. Even Christmas, which usually brought a touch of joy, felt like a faded shadow. Among all the villagers, none was more alone or sorrowful than Martin, a young woodcutter. Years earlier, a terrible storm had struck the village on Christmas Eve, taking away his family. Since then, Martin had lived in a small cabin at the edge of the forest, working tirelessly, with no friends or comfort. Every evening, he would watch the fire die in his hearth and wonder why he continued to live in a world that felt so cold and empty. It was Christmas Eve when something extraordinary happened. Martin was in the forest, as he was every day, gathering firewood to keep warm through the night. The snow fell silently, and the only sound was the crunch of branches beneath his feet. But suddenly, the wind changed. It carried a faint whisper, a sound so soft it was like a distant melody. Martin stopped and looked around. There was no one there, yet the sound grew louder. He decided to follow it, venturing deeper into the forest, until he came to a clearing he had never seen before. At the center of the clearing stood a tree, a tall, majestic fir. But this was no ordinary tree. Its branches seemed dusted with golden powder, and tiny crystals of light sparkled where cones should have been. The snow around the tree was untouched, as if no one had ever walked there, and the air was warm despite the bitter cold of the night. Martin was breathless. "What is this?" he whispered, stepping cautiously closer. But before he could touch the tree, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was an old man, draped in a white cloak that seemed woven from snow and starlight. His eyes glimmered with an ancient wisdom, and a gentle smile lit up his face. "Do not be afraid, Martin," said the man in a calm voice that seemed to echo through the forest. "I am the spirit of Christmas, and this tree is a gift from nature to humankind." Martin stared in disbelief. "Why are you showing this to me? I have nothing. I live alone, without joy, without hope." The spirit stepped closer, placing a hand on Martin's shoulder. "Because you, more than anyone, need to remember what Christmas truly means. This tree is not just a tree, Martin. It is a symbol of light in darkness, of life enduring even in the coldest, darkest winter. But it is not just for you. It is for your village, for those who, like you, have forgotten hope." The spirit broke off a small branch from the tree and handed it to Martin. "Take this branch to your village. Decorate it with what you have, candles, fruits, anything that represents light and life. Let it shine. This small gesture will awaken hope in all who see it." Martin took the branch with trembling hands. He felt a strange warmth spread through his heart, as if a forgotten fire had been rekindled. When he looked up to thank the spirit, the figure was gone. The tree in the clearing had vanished, and the snow around him was pristine, as if no one had ever been there. Martin returned to the village with the branch and spent the night decorating it with whatever he could find: small candles made from leftover wax, red apples gathered in autumn, and scraps of old cloth fashioned into ribbons. At dawn, he placed the decorated branch in the center of the village square. At first, the villagers were confused. "What is this?" they asked. Martin told them the story of the mysterious spirit and the tree of light. Some doubted him, but there was something about the branch, with its flickering candles and bright fruits, that drew them in. One by one, they began bringing small items to add to the branch: golden nuts, tiny wooden toys, more fruits. As the sun set, the branch stood shining in the center of the square, a beacon of warmth and hope. For the first time in years, the laughter of children rang out in the village. The adults shared stories and embraced. It was as if a magic had melted not only the frost but also the sorrow in their hearts. That night, Martin stood watching the glowing tree under the stars, and he realized that Christmas was never just a celebration. It was a reminder of what could be: light in the darkness, warmth in the cold, hope in despair. From that day on, every Christmas Eve, the villagers repeated Martin's gesture, decorating a fir tree to celebrate the light and joy of the season. And the tradition spread, crossing borders and lands, until it became the symbol we know today, the Christmas tree. This is the legend of the Christmas tree, a symbol born not of wealth or power, but of a simple heart that chose to believe in hope once more. It reminds us that even in the darkest moments, we can bring light and warmth to others, and in doing so, we find it for ourselves.